Well, greetings and aloha from the Pacific. This is the Pacific, along with my shaky hand, so I apologize in advance. Actually, this isn't in advance. This is in advance. I would have texted you and said, hey, sorry, I got this video coming up. I'm gonna be shaking. Here's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to touch on Valentine's Day. So actually what I wanted to touch on is holidays in general, and what sparked my discussion about it, or my thoughts about it, was Valentine's Day. And I'll tell you why. So Valentine's Day, arguably a holiday that Hallmark absolutely loves, along with all the chocolate manufacturers and all the florists and the jewelers. And I say that, you know, mildly cynically and sarcastically, because there's this like sort of idea that the guy buys the girl one of those things. Although the whole chocolates thing, I don't know if that's done anymore. I can't, you know, I think honestly the last time I bought a woman in my life chocolates was when I was like 11 and I bought my mom some chocolates. But in any case, so the thought of it came up, and here's why. So Gracie is in the Philippines. Literally from where I'm sitting right now, if I were to look all the way out there, and there was no curvature to the earth, and I had 4,000 to 1 vision with my epic contact lenses, or I had laser surgery that allowed me to see so clear I could see the future. I could see her on the other side of the world. And so the whole, like, you know, going on to some FTD related website and sending her some flowers, or having some jewelry drop shipped to her apartment, which is less than romantic. Or even trying to send her a card. I would have had to have, to get her a Valentine's Day card saying, honey, I love you, I probably would have had to have sent it, actually the easier thing would have been to pay someone in the Philippines and say, hey dude, sit on this thing, and then like on February 8th, send it in the Philippines. Or I would have had to have sent it, let's see, probably, considering it took a month for postcards to get from the Philippines to here, I'll go with it will take a month from for letters to get from Southern California to Boracay. I would have had to have sent it basically the second I landed at LAX, because I got back on a Monday. Anyway, and so it brings me to the point, and she and I were talking about this the other night, which is, you know, Valentine's Day is, you know, the day that you go out with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife and or your partner, whatever, and it's a romantic evening. That 24 hours prior or after, the same dinner will cost you 1/9 the cost of what it'll cost. I can tell you right now, like where I work, we have this really cool restaurant, and it's got a view similar to the one we're looking at right now. It looks out actually over Mission Bay, so for a university, it's a pretty sweet restaurant. And we advertise to our undergrads, the infamous starving student, a Valentine's Day dinner. It's like, you know, full 5-course, whatever, for $150 for starving students. I've eaten at that restaurant, and I can tell you, I can get lunch for like $10 and dinner for like 20 or 25. So whatever. And you know what's funny is I just flashed on the phrase "cheap Charlie," or as a lot of you will probably label me after this, hashtag "cheap loser," cheap prick. But anyway, so here's the reason I bring it up. is because I have buddies that are married and or buddies that are in relationships, and recently, for whatever reason, in the last like day or so, some of them have said, yeah, I gotta make a reservation and I gotta take her out, you know, for Valentine's Day. I gotta, you know, and they didn't just say, oh yeah, I gotta, and it, you know, it's like, man, I gotta, and it was, you know, pain in the ass, and I get it, you know, I mean, society puts these pressures on us, you know, what are you gonna buy for Christmas, and what, that sort of thing. And so the reason I bring that up is what I was sharing with Gracie the other night is that, like, you know, I sent my mom postcards in the middle of September for no reason. I send her a birthday card too, around her birthday, but I don't feel pressure to do it. I send my mom a birthday card on my birthday because I really had nothing to do with my birthday. Mom was the one that spent the attention units making this whole thing happen. And so I blame her and my dad for my wild success and my comfort and my brain and my receding hairline. But you know what I said is like, look, you know, I don't wait until February 14th to tell you that I love you and I care about you. I don't wait until January 25th to get you a really cool gift. And so, you know, and arguably you could label that and say, oh, Mike, you're just trying to justify the reason why you didn't get her something for Valentine's Day. Yeah, maybe. But, you know, I'm certainly not going to show my love to you in terms of weights of cubic zirconia. I actually, initially I made the point to, you know, tell Gracie I love you via the way that we communicate, which for the most part is via WhatsApp or that sort of thing, and occasionally we'll line and Skype, so we can see each other and hear each other's voice. Because, you know, the long distance relationship is just that. It's a long distance, and it's imperfect. And my commute to go hang out with her and go to the movies is a 23-hour commitment. It's actually longer than that. From the time that I leave San Diego in my rental car to get to LAX, it's probably 30 hours all in. And don't get me wrong, it's worth every second. If it was 36 hours, I'd still do it. You know, and I hope you feel that way about your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever. But, you know, I wanted to share that I'm pretty conscious of the fact that, you know, I'm not going to wait until these days, until these special days, until these, you know, sometimes made-up holidays you could argue. Oh, in fact, what is it's, I believe it's called Singles Day, and I think it's November 11th, and I think it was a holiday made up by, and I could be completely wrong here, but I think it was a holiday made up by Jack Ma, which is the guy who owns Alibaba, arguably the largest online retailer. And I'm not just talking about Alibaba.com. Don't get me wrong, and don't start posting, oh my God, Mike, you're so completely wrong. Amazon.com completely, you know, outsells Alibaba.com or AliExpress.com. Yeah, they do. But if you don't know, Alibaba's answer to Amazon.com is Tmall, as well as, I think it's Taobao is how you pronounce it. And all in, last year, Amazon did, I think, about 128 billion in sales, and the Alibaba group in total did 485 billion, with only, I think, 17% of that coming from the United States. So they're selling more over there than we're selling over here. And they make infinitely more profit than Amazon.com. Regardless, shiny red ball, squirrel. Ooh, shiny red ball. The whole made-up day, November 11th, the reason I bring that up is it's definitely, I think, a made-up holiday. I don't know if Jack Ma did it, but I know that it is a made-up holiday of Singles Day. I actually, you know what, you could sort of equate it to Cyber Monday. And Black Friday. Black Friday, when I was a little kid, no one except those in retail knew what Black Friday meant. Because, you know, you don't grow up knowing, I mean, when you're a little kid, you don't know what black versus red, being in the black versus being in the red means. And of course, it's called Black Friday because that was the day that after basically an entire summer of not selling anything, Black Friday was the day that everybody went and bought stuff at your store. And so all the retail establishments, bam, got in the black on that Friday, which then rotated into Cyber Monday, which is the following Monday. And now, if you even own an email address, you get inundated with all this stuff that, you know, basically says we're celebrating Black Friday on Thursday, you know, or Cyber Monday happens all week, you know, kind of thing. And so it's not just one single day. But to that point, on Singles Day in China, on Tmall and Taobao and Alibaba and AliExpress.com, they sold more on their one website than all of the United States spent on Cyber Monday on every single website. So, you know, they're doing something right over there, and we're not doing anything necessarily wrong over here. I mean, quite frankly, we've got, what is it, basically, in comparison to their population, we've got 1/4 of the population. And, you know, you could argue 1.5 times the spending power, right? As a nation. Not as individuals. As individuals, we have infinitely more spending power over here than the average Chinese person. Indeed. So with all that said, I wanted to throw out there that I think about these days, and it's actually a good reminder as we come up on them, and I get inundated as you do, you know, with advertisements and that sort of thing, for retail and buying things. And it's a neat time to buy things too. It's like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's a neat little bracelet. I guess I'll get that or whatever. But Gracie and I got these really cool bracelets. Necklaces. We got them a long time ago, and we got them on laz.ph. But I wear the key, and this key actually fits in a stamped metal heart that she wears, you know, so the key to her heart. So I mean, it's, you know, kind of, I suppose initially it's a little corny, but I think it's freaking cool. But the point is that we bought it like in September or October. I think we bought it in August, actually. I think I bought it in August, and I had it delivered to where we were going to meet in September in Sycamore. You know, and it wasn't a day. It wasn't like a Valentine's Day or, you know, the Christmas Day or New Year's Day or whatever. It was because, hey, you know what? I dig you. I like you. I love you. And so I kind of like doing stuff like that. And the neat thing for me is before, when I would feel guilty when I wouldn't buy my mate or my mom or whatever, my dad, a card on Father's Day, I'm reminded that, you know, I really like doing the whole, I'm going to make sure I let you know that I love you and care about you on a Wednesday in April for no reason other than I do. So I just wanted to share that. I come down here and I notice this beauty, and I was thinking about the other pieces of beauty that are in my life, not the least of which are my, you know, lucky relationships that, quite frankly, I just fall into. It's not like I have this plan and say, okay, January of 2016, I'm going to meet an amazing girl in Boracay. Bam. And then the project plan gets executed, and I'm like, sweet. No, it just happens, dude. And if I had my way, actually, I would have met Gracie the first day I landed in Boracay, not the day before I was flying out. But nonetheless, Buddha's in charge of my relationships, and thank God. Thank Buddha. Oh, my Buddha. Anyway, so that's just my check-in from here in Imperial Beach. It's Mike saying, I hope you're living the dream. Because if you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong. And that might mean that you're only telling people you love them on the special retail holidays that are in the U.S. So tell someone you love them on a random Wednesday. Ciao.